support social dialogue, not confrontational. ILO never support you just go to the street, take to the street to have a strike. We always support the social dialogue and the workplace. Of course, when you have this kind of social dialogue between employer and employees, because employee workers are always in a vulnerable position. That's why in ILO many convention standards, we have to support the workers. You know, the labor relation is so sensitive, so important. I said in this globalized world. I remember I gave the inauguration one example, very fixed example, because I always mention it. I was in Pakistan for 6.5 years. There is one very famous company which produces handmade football, because for professional, this player, and for the international match, they always use handmade football, and you can kick out to the right direction to hit a target, not a machine made. Machine made is very popular in China, in India, some other countries. But the mass production from Pakistan, from one city, Sialkot, I think you know Sialkot, is a very famous export city in Pakistan. 5,000 employees in this company. And they mainly supply handmade football to US market. Nike, or this, some other bigger buyers. Because of trade union complaints from this company, this is a private company, the management didn't have experience. Some management is always like this, they are very arrogant. This is my company, this is my property, you have to work for me. No, in this globalized world, you need to give workers the voice. They didn't listen to this trade union voice. I also visited this company, they gave me a football, very beautiful football, now still in my house as a gift, very beautiful. The owner is a lady. And then this trade union sent complaint to international trade union, to US union, and to our buyers. And the buyer also sent a probe team to the field to see something is really wrong. Some violation of the international labor standard. And then this buyer just canceled the whole contract. 5,000 people got jobless. You can see, it's a no win-win situation. Lose-lose situations. 5,000 workers get job lost. And the employer, this company now, not now, I think 5 years back, it was bankrupt. The very good family business grew after 2 generations, now bankrupt. This is a typical example to show, to observe international labor standard is so important. Sri Lanka, you get a GSP from US, I think in earlier 2000s. Did you know, a couple of years back, US put Sri Lanka in a review status. What do you mean review? Review, it means if situation don't improve, they may consider changing their decision. You are maybe not in the tariff-free status to export to the United States market. You know, this is a huge impact on the country economy, on the country employment creation, on your well-being of workers. And then I think also with the ILO help, we supported about $2 million to support the government to improve your labor situation in the country, particularly in export processing zone. You know, you have so many export processing zones. Huh? After 2 years, US restored the Sri Lanka into a normal status. Just imagine, huh? Because of these labor rights issues, many owner of a company didn't take it serious. Maybe I speak too long, or you have time, or this is also another fresh lesson. I told you in the beginning of my speech, GSP Plus came to have a meeting with ILO because they are not only listening to the government, they listen to the international organization. They are neutral, they are impartial. Luckily, Sri Lanka has made so much progress, make so many achievements in this regard. That's why I can have something to say. Last year, when U.S. Deputy Representative, Trade Representative visited Sri Lanka, I also had a meeting with this requested by U.S. Embassy. You have done a good job. Sri Lanka has ratified 40 international conventions and 8 core conventions. This 8 core convention is very important. For the GSP from US, for GAP Plus from EU, this is a mandatory requirement. You must ratify ILO 8 core conventions. What does it mean, core conventions? It means in your workplace, you have to allow workers to have a freedom of assembly, to have a collective bargaining. You have to eliminate child labor. You cannot hide child labor. You cannot have a forced labor. Usually, companies don't have this kind of issues. That's usually is country issues, forced labor, bondage. They cannot pay back the debt. Send my daughter, my boy to your factory to a company to do some work. That's a forced labor, very, very serious labor violation. You cannot have discrimination in national legislation and also in your company practice. So many. This is fundamental labor rights issues. ILO so far has adopted 189 international conventions. So anyway, you still have a long way to go to ratify more and more. Why ILO always urge member states to ratify more conventions? Because you need to come in this globalized world. You need to join this international family. You need to have a one unified labor standard to regulate your practice. That's why we have this kind of a blood factory somewhere to give workers the wages below minimum. They just exploit workers and export their products. So now, luckily, in so many developing countries, so many big buyers, they also have to show their social responsibility. They also have a campaign to stop importing those products from blood factories. This is social responsibility, not from a few companies. It's a global consensus. Lastly, my point I would like to share with you is you need to have a passion for it, for this subject, for the people you are serving. Passion can make a big difference. I give you an example. Today is Sunday. I have a justification. I don't need to come. It's my voluntary work. It's not my duty from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock because I have my pension. My pension for this subject, my pension and duty to serve the people of Sri Lanka. It makes a difference. I remember in Pakistan, I was there for 6.5 years. Many trade unions, they have assembly meetings, usually on Saturday and weekends. Some staff told me, oh, Mr. Lee, every time you go, your predecessor said to the trade union, you also have to order my labor rights. I'm also the workers of International Labor Organization. You have to respect my weekends. You see, that's if you do something like a business. I said, because I have my pension for workers. Workers, they cannot have assembly, they cannot have a meeting on work days because they have to work. That's the only chance over weekends they have these trade union meetings. As an ILO official, this is our duty, our obligation to sacrifice your own interest, your own time to serve for the public, to serve the workers. That's why I got the highest civilian award, President Award from the Pakistan government in 2010. In the UN history, in the Pakistan, there is a bigger UN system, much more numbers than in Sri Lanka. Only 3 representatives got such a high civilian award: WHO, UNHCR, and ILO. ILO is a small agency. In our history, is the first ILO contributor to receive such a high award. Why? Because they know you have a passion, you have a dedication, you have a commitment to your work. That's very important. It can make a big difference. I hope you guys, you need to have a passion, particularly when you handle an employee. You know, my management philosophy, my subject is MBA. I know the human resource history, the theories, more than 10 theories, 5-tier theory, 3 tiers, equity, equality, fairness theory, contingent theory. I told my staff, even I managed 300 employees in China. I was a president of one Chinese state company. I was also a very senior official before joining ILO in the government. My management philosophy is very simple: to create the family-like working environment. I urge my staff to consider each other as a member of this family, to support each other, to respect each other, to tolerate each other, very important, to learn from each other. In every family, why are you functioning so smoothly? You don't have a written law on the wall. You don't have a regulation in your house. Why? Because you have commitment. You have a passion. You have a dedication. You have a family, this culture. That's why wherever I go, I always try to